Pure and simple, it's retaliation. The attacks have been systematic, sustained, and savage. As we have uncovered more corruption, once again, at the highest rungs of City Hall, the attacks have gotten worse.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. You know, we often think about corruption at the federal level, but we know it can be at the state and local levels. It really can. I am going to draw our attention today to the city of Atlanta, Georgia, of which I live very close. Now, this is in regards to a Shannon Mannigault, who is who was the Inspector General of the city of Atlanta, and what she has gone through trying to dig up corruption. Sounds like another similar situation. But before we get into it, don't forget to smash the like, comment, share, subscribe, hit all notifications so that you are always alerted of when I post a new video, and watch the video to the end. Now let's get into it. All right, so this happened just yesterday, and she's talking about retaliation. This is going to remind you of something else. It really is. Listen to what she actually says.
Thank you all for being here. For the last several months, the City of Atlanta Office of the Inspector General and I have been subjected to threats, bullying, intimidation, and harassment at the hands of people who have been the subjects of our investigations. Pure and simple, it's retaliation. The attacks have been systematic, sustained, and savage. As we have uncovered more corruption, once again, at the highest rungs of City Hall, the attacks have gotten worse. Now, you've heard a little bit about our office. As James Radford said, our job is to identify fraud, waste, abuse, and corruption to serve this city. And that's exactly what we have done.
Now, she just made it very clear that she's been retaliated against by the people who are the very subjects of her investigation to dig up fraud and corruption. And she has said that they are going after her with sustained intensity. I mean, brutal attacks. Brutal. That sounds an awfully lot like, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. They're being attacked. Right? Because anytime you're talking about uncovering corruption, the people that are doing the corruption, they come out with their fangs gnashed and their claws out. That lets me know who the real corruption is, who the real corruptors are. That lets me know.
We reported it to you, the public, because transparency and accountability matter. That's what it is to have an Office of Inspector General. Through our work, we've been able to protect city employees who've been victimized by abuses by city leaders. Through our work, we've been able to call out favoritism and collusion in procurement to help level the playing field for city vendors, not just the special few, but for all city vendors. Through our work, we've identified bribery so that you residents and small business owners don't have to pay a toll for the city services that you're already paying for with your taxpayer dollars. You, the public, have appreciated our work. You've recognized the care and professionalism and detail of our reports. I am so incredibly proud of the work that's been done by the dedicated professionals of the OIG team, many of whom are behind me now. This team has worked tirelessly for the city of Atlanta, and I couldn't be happier to stand on their record and their efforts. But however much the people of the city of Atlanta want us to be here and want us to be doing our job, city leadership has made it crystal clear. For them, a real, functioning, effective Office of Inspector General is not welcome in Atlanta.
See, these people are functioning in corruption, in my opinion. Now, I'm not too familiar with the whole situation, I'll be honest, but it just feels like they are scared that she is going to expose them. And so they are threatening her into submission. All right. So this is something we don't just see at the federal level. It is at the state level. It is at the local level. This again is Shannon Mannigault, office from the Office of Inspector General, sustaining threats, bullying, harassment that has been intense and sustained. Now, all levels of government can be bad, but Atlanta is really in a mess. All right. And let me just tell you something else. It looks like she's getting these threats also from the current mayor of Atlanta. We're going to get into him in just a moment.
They claim to stand with OIG, but quite clearly, their actions speak louder than their words. On our end, we present facts. They tell falsehoods about our operations. We detail findings, and they try to undermine our credibility. We make recommendations to address vulnerabilities. They ignore those and attack our character. We talk about industry standards and best practices, and they insist on guardrails for a train that has only ever stayed on the tracks. None of this is lost on the people who are actually paying attention. The public isn't fooled. The public recognizes an assault on government oversight when it sees it. And the public has every right to ask the obvious question: why? Why the unrelenting effort to hurt an office that's here to identify wrongdoing for the benefit of the city? We've watched for months as these city leaders have proposed legislation to weaken the office, while they've attempted to demean the staff of the office, and as they've tried to ruin my professional reputation.
Oh, it's easy to see. It is easy to see because the reason they're coming up against her is because she threatens what they're doing. They are corrupt. The city leaders, okay? Mayor of Atlanta, Dickens. She's been in a little bit of a feud with him. He is against what she is doing. He is against what she is uncovering. And therefore, you're going to hear about even more threats that this woman has been subjected to. And it is hit to the very core of who she is. And it has caused her to make a drastic, and I mean drastic, decision. This is drastic.
Now, a little about me. Some of you have gotten to know me. When Atlanta, as Don Panovi said, decided 5 years ago that it needed an IG, the city had reached out to me. I wasn't looking. I was in New York. But I was so excited to come here and bring this IG function to benefit the city of Atlanta. I love this work. And to be able to bring this here to serve the people, what an opportunity. Those of you who have gotten to know me know that I'm a little bit of a nerd, right? I love learning about IG work. And so taking that experience, not just based on what I knew from New York, but wanting to build on it to make sure that this office could be the best that it could be. So that means studying what's happening in other cities and other counties, seeing what operations they have, what their policies and procedures are, what their legislation looks like, so that the City of Atlanta Office of Inspector General could be the best that it could be. I've cared so much and tried so hard so that I could best serve my new city. And until last year, I have absolutely loved this job. Now, it hasn't been easy. The people behind me can attest to the fact that it has not been easy, but I've loved it. I've loved the challenge of it. I've loved connecting with city employees and city stakeholders. Ultimately, I've loved serving this city. The legislation that everyone's been talking about, it's going to be voted on today, is going to destroy the office. I'm not going to mince words about that. It is going to destroy the office. I know it, you know it, and they know it. But if the discussion surrounding the office had stayed at the level of policy, and certainly if that discussion had involved a real review of how offices of Inspector General work, that would have been okay. But things have taken a turn. 2 weeks ago, the abuse that I've been routinely subjected to was then extended to my family. And that is not okay.
Now, you see this woman saying that the abuse that she had routinely been subjected to has then it extended to her family. And I want to just make a mention about the mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, Andre Dickens. All right, so I'm just getting this off of social media. Now, this is dated back in September of 2023 when this was posted. And this is, again, talking about the mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, Andre Dickens, a Democrat, appealing to the privately funded Atlanta Police Foundation at their gala. Here you can see people who attempted to overturn elections. Allegedly, there are people in this photo who attempted to overturn elections. He stood steadfast with private interests despite checks notes, 116K signatures, and an international scandal of a project. All right, and this is Mayor of Atlanta to the right here, Andre Dickens. Okay, and this is what this is alleged. Ollie Amon Carter, a longtime Andre Dickens City Council staffer and his administration's incoming chief of staff, is a stark reminder that Buckhead residents once again deserve better as officers tried to arrest Carter on board a plane at Atlanta's airport on an outstanding felony warrant for terroristic threats. And it just go down here. The Buckhead City Committee demands that Mayor Dickens hold members of his administration to the highest standards and leave Atlanta Police Department's recruiting and hiring standards intact. Okay, and it says we hold ourselves to the high standards as we remain focused on our mission to improve the safety of our streets and ensure services align with our tax dollars, build infrastructure, and advance sensible zoning. So this is in regards, let me just read a little bit more of this. It says a high-ranking department leader called me this week to inform us that he has been instructed by the mayor's team to lower recruitment and hiring standards. So Mayor Dickens can hire 250 new officers in his first year, said White. This is a total disaster and could lead to unqualified officers on our streets and put good officers' lives and the public's lives at risk. Lowering hiring standards just to make headlines is disgraceful and not what Buckhead or the city of Atlanta needs right now to fight crime. So he is in the middle of, and this is from White, and this is the Buckhead City CEO, Bill White, who has stated this against the Atlanta mayor, Andre Dickens. Okay, so we see that, yeah, he's got a little bit of history, doesn't he? I'm going to let you hear the rest of Shannon Mannigault.
A multi-pronged attack on an organization and its leader, it's not new around here. For those who've been paying attention, it should have a oddly, sadly familiar ring to it. For our office, that attack has most recently involved subpoenas and lawsuits. As James Bradford said, those claims will be defended. I just want to be clear, that's not why I'm here today. This isn't about the merits of any lawsuit, and I use merits there very loosely. As James noted, the lawsuit claims will be defended, and truly, thank goodness for board-approved James Bradford. The whole reason the City of Atlanta Office of Inspector General, like any Office of Inspector General, needs an attorney of its own is to protect against potential conflicts of interest. Glaring, obvious, don't need to be a lawyer to recognize it, conflicts of interest. like the ones where the attorney who's supposed to protect the office ends up being the same attorney who attacks the office. You know, like where the same lawyer who's supposed to represent the office is the person who makes a video misrepresenting the office and our work. Now, some of you heard and some of you reported on the fact that I took some days off. No, it was not because I was put on any leave. It's because I needed to take some time. I needed to take some time to step away and reflect and come to grips with everything that these people have been doing to me. And that's how I've come to the incredibly difficult decision to resign as Inspector General of the City of Atlanta. I hate that it's come to this. For the members of the public, including so many, those who are behind me and those who are out there who supported this office, for all the employees we've tried to help, please know that I have done everything in my power to fight for the office so that we could continue to serve you.
And there you have it, warriors. She had to resign. Now, it's bad enough they came after her, but then they came after her family. And see, that's the same thing they did to Donald Trump. They came after him, and then they came after his family. They used lawfare on Donald Trump. They're using it against her. They had a special meeting where they're going to dismantle the office of the Inspector General. See, people, we got all this crooked mess going on. And when somebody tries to do the right thing, try to uncover the corruption, try to dismantle it, they smear that person, they go after that person with everything in him. And the other people that are evil as well, they gang up together, and they're going to sound quite credible when they lie to our very faces about the evil that she's doing, when she doesn't, in my opinion, and I don't know her, but she comes forward. She comes off, in my opinion, as very straightforward, no pretense, just honest. And I don't know her. I'm just saying how she comes off to me. And it sounds so similar. It's the exact same thing. So we ought to know by now that when you got someone saying, I'm going to dismantle corruption, and then the people that come after you, oh, they must be part of the corruption. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure this out. It is very obvious at this point. Very, very obvious. She's going through, although on a lesser level, because it's not as bad. I mean, I don't think she's been shot at like Donald Trump has, but she's going through something. Going through hell for wanting to do the right thing, and had to, as she said, she tried everything in her power. See, I don't know. We got to get some right people in place. We need some discernment when it comes to voting. We need to get some of these crooked folks up out of here. And she's had contentions with the mayor, Andre Dickens. Okay, the leaders of the city. She said the leaders of the city. She didn't give any names, but we know she's had a feud with Andre Dickens, the current mayor of Atlanta. We know that. And he's got some little scandalous things going on with himself. Agreeing to lower the standards of the police force so that more people can get in, that ultimately makes us weaker. That's like when they tried to do that with the military. We don't need any DEI mess. That ultimately makes us weaker. It doesn't help anybody just so we can have the first this or the first that. Just get the best one of any group of people. Just get the best, merit-based only. And for Black folks who are out here talking about you crying out for DEI, you're just saying that you need special help and that you can't compete when it comes to merit-based. To Clefty Lefties, it probably sounds like, oh, they're being racist because they're focusing on merit. We're supposed to focus on merit. It's like you're saying you can't compete yourself when it's just merit-based. There's a lot of Black in any color and both genders of all types of people that are very intelligent, that really don't need DEI, which, by the way, really helped more white women than anything else. But I don't want to get off topic. This is what we're facing all across this country. It's not just in DC. It's not just in Atlanta or LA. It's in Chicago. It's all over. Corruption that needs to be dismantled. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to smash like, comment, share, subscribe, hit all notifications so that you do not miss any content. Also, check me out on my new show, The Linda B Show, right here on YouTube. You can also email me, ChatWithMeLindaB at gmail.com. All right, you all be blessed, love God, your families, and as I always say, march on, warriors.